For those of you who have just tuned into our program, I'd like to say you haven't missed a thing. We just started.
22.
Welcome again to Fractured Flickers, television's answer to Russian roulette. We'd like to say that the stars with whose films we've taken liberties here on our show have been tremendously good-natured and open-minded about the whole thing. We'd like to say it, but the fact is we now have about 126 lawsuits currently pending against us. We're sort of the Billy Soul Estes of TV. I've been asked from where the money comes with which to settle all the claims against us. Well, I'll tell you, they're taken out of my check each week. You see, my agent thought he was getting me a good deal when the producers offered to name me president of Fractured Flickers Enterprises. My children don't understand why, if I'm an executive as well as a star, they haven't got any shoesies. But don't worry about them, Elmo, Francis X, Buster. Hookworm season is still months away.
Good evening from historic Muncie, Indiana. It's the $100,000 Breeders' Handicap, featuring some of the fastest breeders in the country. Saturday night at the horse races is brought to you by Davis's Dribbled Dog Food, by Yummy Yogurt, by Furtex, the fur that looks like mink, feels like ermine, and catches mice, and by Nose Cafe Coffee. This is your announcer, Del Mar. The horses are coming out onto the track. Incidentally, keep your eye on the favorite, number 6, Reluctant. He's a great champion who, unfortunately, is reluctant to race, as you can see. While he's making up his mind, folks, we'll show you some candid film of Reluctant's jockey, the famous Irv Schumacher. There we see Irv and his little brother frolicking at the beach. Irv claims that exercising in the sand strengthens his feet and his little brother's arms, too. Irv was unaware that this scene was being filmed. He's chatting with the owner of Gallant Tanglegs, a plater that couldn't possibly win unless Irv were to throw the race, which, of course, he would never do. And now the big moment is at hand, racing fans. The Breeders' Handicap will soon be racing history. The horses are at the wire and getting ready, and they're off! And it's a beautiful start. And it looks as if Reluctance has had a bad effect on all the other horses. I think they're going to try it again, though. And there they go. And, but not very far. Now a word from our sponsors. What's the matter with those nags, Charlie?
Double your troubles, double your woe. Chew it up, and bubbles you'll blow.
Upsides gum. Yes, everybody chews upsides.
Double your bubbles, double them now. Chew it up, just like a cow.
Well, they've put the blinkers on the official starter, and there they go again. It's a start this time, and no doubt about it. And you are looking at the owner of Reluctant, Colonel Dubious, who seems a bit skeptical. Incidentally, next week on this station, don't miss the film classic, Schmoes Along the Drum Hog. And the week after next, be sure to see Lawrence of Arcadia, starring O'Toole Peterson. Horses are rounding the far turn and coming into the home stretch. It's Tanglegs, Reluctant, and Redheart. They're coming across the finish line, and it looks like they're all reluctant. Well, that's it, ladies and gentlemen. There has been a foul. There goes the inquiry sign. There go the jockeys. And here we go. Saturday night at the horse races has been brought to you by Country Squire Dandruff Remover and the Builders Institute of America.
Excuse my ruffled appearance, ladies and gentlemen. I was just reminding some of the members of our technical staff exactly who is the star of our program. If they think that...
My first exclusive. Yesterday, when I went to the 20th Century Fox set, I saw the star of Luther of Arabia, and believe me, he has a future in Hollywood. I'd like to say right now that all those rumors you've heard are positively not true. Although he has rejected the Ivy look, the former male hairdresser is a real he-man. Even though it was evident to me that he wears the same exciting perfume as Rhonda Fleming, Tuesday Weld, and Natalie Wood. It occurred to me that with a few minor script changes, Luther of Arabia could have a love interest, and I intend to assist the producer in the casting so that the picture won't collapse.
Oh, forget it, sweetie.
The 20th Century Fox front office certainly shows a lot of spirit, though some say that Daryl Zanuck hasn't yet taken full control, even though former President Spiroskouras gave him the chair. Here we see Joe Mankiewicz and Billy Wilder, our two finest directors, shooting lovely Audrey Hepburn. Audrey seems nervous and also a little heavier. But with Joe's camera work and the proper angles, she'll project the same winsome charm as ever. This morning, I visited Paramount. And as usual, when I passed through the big iron gates, I got the red carpet treatment. Because of the fair and impartial and never vindictive way I've handled their young stars, I always get the red carpet treatment, which I think is only proper for one who for 35 years has given Hollywood poise, grace, and dignity. Young man, you're finished in pictures. Over in CBS, the June Taylor dancers complained to me that Jackie Gleason's breath is ruining their coordination. Dinah Shore is out of NBC's Chevy commercials. She's been replaced by Kate Smith. Frank Sinatra has accepted a weekend invitation to sail aboard the presidential yacht, but he may regret it. Definitely not true are those ugly rumors that the happy Malibu Beach home of popular star, wife and mother Wanda Balch is about to break up. Wanda's husband, Ted Balch, can be assured that when she's not on the set, Wanda's at home alone, working hard at keeping up that lovely Ocean View house.
There you go, Wanda, baby. Drink up. Your old man don't suspect a thing.
Oh, dear, it was such a lovely house, too. I'm sure that Wanda's fine Malibu neighbors are going to miss her terribly. Also, definitely not true are stories that young favorite Sandra Dee has become a hopeless celery tonic addict. Nor is it true that Columbia's Riff Dingle has a drinking problem. The studio says he's as hot a property as ever. While I was on an MGM set today, I couldn't help noticing how much my figure resembles that of lovely Esther Williams, who unfortunately splashed me. And as a result, will never work again. Luckily, Tab Hunter was right at hand, trying out for his first adult role.
I told them. I told them I'm not ready to work around grown-ups yet.
Later, Fractured Flicker's producer, Jay Ward, and I couldn't help noticing how much construction work is going on in the studio. As we toured MGM's back lot together, I marveled at the competitive spirit that Leo the Lion has shown in making great entertainment for millions of satisfied customers. To you moviegoers, I say, the industry is thriving. And to Jay Ward, I say, you'll never work in Hollywood again.
Some of our viewers have been taking us to task recently because when we have guests on our program, we seem to get along so well. I think the word lallygagging was the word most often used. Apparently, some of you would like to see us do penetrating, incisive interviews like those of Mr. Mike Wallace and others. Well, you know us, anything for a fan. So we've asked tonight's guest, Miss Connie Stevens, to submit to such an interview. Hello, Connie.
Hello, honey.
Connie, as I'm sure you already know, is a charming and talented young actress and singer. And that's all the courtesy you'll get from us this evening, young lady. Time now for the Fractured Flicker's Fearless Interview, the program that strips away the phony tinsel of Hollywood and gets down to the real tinsel underneath. Let's meet tonight's subject. You are Connie Stevens, are you?
Yes, that's right.
Don't try to deny it. I have the proof right here.
I didn't try to deny it.
Oh, well, Miss Stevens, what is your real name?
I just told you it's Connie Stevens.
Does the name Claire Evelyn Jablonski mean anything to you?
Yes, I think it does.
I thought so. Well, now, will you tell our audience, please, without hedging, just where you've heard that name before?
Isn't that your real name, Hans?
But did you ever hear of the Louis Agassiz Society?
Sure.
Are you now, or have you ever been, a card-carrying member of that society?
Yes, I think I have the card here somewhere.
When you joined, did you know that the Louis Agassiz Society was an eleemosynary organization?
Certainly.
You were young and naive at the time.
Well, I just joined it last week.
Better than I expected.
Hans, the Louis Agassiz Society is a bird-watching club.
But you admitted it was an eleemosynary organization.
Well, you know as well as I do that eleemosynary means it's a non-profit, charitable organization.
So it is. But that's not all, Miss Stevens. Isn't it true that you wear a wig and are, in fact, totally bald?
That's ridiculous.
You deny that this is a photograph of you?
That's a baby picture. All babies are bald.
Don't quibble. There you have it, America. I told you to expect fireworks, and you got them. Remember, you heard it here first. Miss Connie Stevens was born totally bald.
Big deal.
It's certainly been a penetrating interview.
How do you know?
My stomach hurts. Good night, Connie.
Good night, Claire.
Oh. An avid group of Fractured Flickers fans in Gulfport have written to ask why I don't sing or dance on this program. For those of you who have seen me sing or dance, part of the answer is immediately apparent. But aside from that, part of the problem is the fact that usually the cameras are so close to me that if I were to move suddenly, the camera would find it difficult to keep me in range. Now watch. You see how difficult it is for the camera to relocate me? All right, Harry. I'm over here. Now, over here. Come on, Harry. That's not funny anymore. Oh, all right. Let's see the next flicker.
Mr. Bostwick, here's a letter from Mr. Bedwhistle.
About time.
Mr. J.B. Bostwick, New England Bag and Twine Company, Miami Beach, Florida. Dear J.B., I arrived here in Central America to make our annual company audit, and I must say things have changed quite a bit. Oh, the natives are still gay and happy, but to begin with, it seems the cabs don't take Diners Club cards anymore. What's more, the police seem to have developed a peculiar sense of humor. When I ask for directions to the office...
You're a Yankee, see?
See?
Okay, I tell you where to go. First you go from right to left, and then you jump up and down.
Very funny. Of course, I went right to the American Embassy. And I'm sorry to tell you, the people here have let things go something fierce. The place was downright shabby. And their filing system left a great deal to be desired, too. Frankly, J.B., I didn't see much evidence of that old Yankee ingenuity and know-how. Then, while I was looking for the consul, a trap door opened right behind me and... But that's another story. Anyway, I headed right for our main office to see the head bookkeeper. I'd like to see Miss Peckthorpe. You obviously don't know who I am.
I don't care much, neither.
Well, I thought, what would J.B. do in a spot like this? And I did it. You know, it really is too warm for a top coat down here. Well, the office was closed up tight as a drum, J.B. Then, like a bolt from the blue, the solution struck me. It's Sunday. But just then, someone tossed down a round object with a message pinned to it. I knew what to do. I pulled out the pin. And I got the message. Why should I bother you with details, J.B.? Suffice it to say that I was soon out of the hospital and hard at work. Recalling your own words at our sales meeting about how important it is to gain goodwill for the company, I made contact with a big independent merchant and concluded a very satisfactory trade agreement. Then I received word that our head bookkeeper, Miss Peckthorpe, wanted to see me. I followed the messenger to a dimly lit section of the city and through a mysterious door. The door closed behind me and... But why should I bother you with details, J.B.? The important thing is, I found Miss Peckthorpe. I'm sure you'll be happy to know she has a second job with a local firm. Working the swing shift, I believe.
Good grief.
Well, I showed her your memo authorizing me to look at the books.
Books? Books? Oh, yeah, the books. Oh, come on in. I must have them somewhere. Where did I put them? Oh, there they are.
Miss Peckthorpe showed me the books. Or book, really. She uses the single entry system to save space. And what I saw made my little heart go pitty-pat, J.B. New England Bag and Twine took in $7 million last year.
Oh, goodies.
But they show a net loss of 28 cents. Yes, it seems that our managing director, Mr. Osgood, made the mistake of appointing the local chief of police to the executive board.
Gentlemen, the Home Office has sent $2 million to build another twine plant.
Objection. I move we use the money to vote ourselves a bonus instead.
No. We're supposed to use the money to help the people down here.
Well, I'm people, you're people, we are all people. Every one of us could make a mint.
But...
A mint!
What's a four-letter word for crook?
Gentlemen, I'm counting on your loyalty to me and to New England Bag and Twine. Just sign here.
Well, of course, there was only one way the vote could go. In 2 hours, Mr. Osgood was kicked out of the company and retired to a little place in the country. A little place with bars on the windows. Gee. And the new managing director immediately set up a novel profit-sharing plan.
A bag for you, and a bag for me. A bag for me, and a bag for you, and a bag for me.
Well, obviously, it was my move, and I said to Miss Peckthorpe, what would J.B. do in a spot like this? And J.B., I did it. Hello, Chief. Need a good auditor?
Sit down. What kept you?
So, I made a deal on the spot. I'd keep the books looking good for an equal share in the loot. Just as I thought. Your share is equaler than mine.
What's so funny?
You'll find out. Of course, as you probably guessed, J.B., I immediately got in touch with Mr. Osgood and got proxies on all his voting stock in the company. And with a few bribes here and there, I soon wound up with control of the Central American branch of New England Bag and Twine. So at the first stockholders meeting,
I would like to introduce a new board member, Harvey Pentwhistle.
Yay!
thank you. And I'd like to introduce the managing director.
Thank you.
Not you crumb. Get out of here. Oh, Mr. Osgood. How about that, folks?
Yay!
Of course, the chief tried to kick up a fuss, but I thought, what would JB do? And I did it. I declared a dividend.
Yay!
Then I remembered what you did with Harrison Hemp and Cordage, JB. So the next thing I did was to boot out old Osgood and take over the company myself. I also married Miss Peckthorpe. Wife can't testify against her husband, you know. Oh, I'm also the new chief of police. Just lucky, I guess. Yours truly, Harvey Pentwhistle. Oh, P.S. about Mr. Osgood. He's now a demonstrator with our local Lath and Plaster Institute. Mr. Osgood is the man who knocks on the wall. Well, I guess I owe it all to you, J.B. But just you try and get any of it away from me.
Transportation for our guests on Fractured Flickers is provided by War Surplus Zeppelin Lines, the Zeppelins of the Star.
This program is brought to you by the makers of Burp-A-Seltzer, the pleasant-tasting alkali drink that speeds release through your system in seconds. And by Nalem Cigarettes. Remember, whoever you are, wherever you are, when you light up a Nalem, suddenly it's springtime. Coming soon to your local theater. A motion picture that dares to be typical. More thrilling than Godzilla meets Max Factor. More heartbreaking than Tammy turns commie. More poignant than Gidget goes on a bender. It's the grim, grim world of the wonderful brothers sisters. You'll see Phony Jerkins as the nervous, sensitive teenager who can't figure out how to cope with life or with his long underwear. You'll hear lovely Wednesday Welk introduce a new song that will make you cry for any number of reasons. It's the undercover story of 19 sumptuous sisters who sleep with their windows open. Produced by the man who gave you Saturdays Tight and Sundays Boring, David O. Shellshock. It's a motion picture to make you glad you're living somewhere else. Never before has a motion picture made such a spectacle of itself. Never before has a director taken such a simple and beautiful story and dared bring it to the screen free of hokum and cheap slapstick comedy. It's a widescreen revelation that proves once again how much rural Americana weaves the moral fiber of our lives and entwines itself in our very bedspring. Yes, it will remind you of Mother. It will make you pine for the good life and for days gone by. Be sure to see the grim, grim world of the wonderful brothers sisters. Bring the family. After all, everyone likes to see a good drowning.
What did he say?
Many of you have written us saying that you'd like to help us win an Emmy Award. We certainly appreciate that offer. And here's all you need do. Simply write the Academy of Television Arts and Sciences and urge them to open a new category for half-hour comedy series utilizing old silent film with funny voices, hosted by an actor from Baltimore, Maryland.
1, 2.
immortal words of dress designer Christian Dior, that's about the size of it. Until next week at the same time, this is Hans Conried speaking, and leaving you with this thought. If the TV rating services call you tonight, please keep my name out of it.